In any programming language, we have what is called data types. And data types, as they sound, refers to the type of data which we are dealing with. So far, we've mainly focused on the data type of string, but there are also others too. JavaScript is a loosely typed or a dynamic language, which basically means our variables don't care what type of data they contain. They can contain a string, or as we will look at during this video, something else such as a number. And we can also change the data type of a variable too when we reassign a new value. This is unlike some other programming languages such as Java, where we need to specify what type of data our variable will contain first. Inside of this current lesson, we have the data types numbers video, which is number 6, and also make sure to open this up inside the browser too. When dealing with a language such as Java, we may need to declare a variable like this. We can give our variable a name called number and set this equal to a string of 5. So when we write code just like this is Java code. This is what is called a strongly typed language, since this data type must be declared upfront. However, though, we're using JavaScript, which doesn't care about what type of data this variable contains. So unlike Java, we don't declare what type of data we're going to contain. We just simply say what type of variable this is going to be. So we'll say let number equals 5. And this, of course, is a string because it's surrounded inside of the quotations. But what about if we were to do this? Let's say on the next line, we then reassign this value of number to be equal to a real number such as 5. This is how we set a number in JavaScript. We don't surround in any of the quotations. Now we can use this number inside of here. We can output the number on the screen. And let's save this and see what happens. Refresh. And now the value of this is 5. So this number variable has changed even though we're using a completely different data type. This data type of number can be a whole number just like this. And we can write this with or without decimal places. We can output this. And if you are coming from a different programming language where there may be multiple number types such as double, float or integer, this is not the case here. JavaScript numbers are always stored as a double precision floating point format. And if you do want to find out more about the technical details behind this, you can find a link here on the page. When working with numbers, JavaScript can also calculate the value and store this inside a variable too. So for example, if we were to assign this number the value of 5 plus 10, save this, this would now output the value of 15. So it would do the calculation first and then assign this to the variable. But what do you think will happen if we were to add together a number and a string? Well, let's find out. We'll say let number 1 equal to be a string, and then let number 2. This can be assigned the value of 15. Now, instead of outputting the value of number, we'll output the value of number 1 added to the variable of number 2. Over to the browser. So we see our two variables. We have the string of 5 and then the number of 15. So is this a number or is this a string? Well, when adding together a number and a string, in JavaScript the result is a string. Even though we have a number here, this is classed as a complete string. We can prove this by using an operator called type of. Cut these out of place. And we use type of. And then inside the brackets, paste these back in. We'll see what type of data is returned from inside of these brackets. We can use this with any other data type too, and it will let us know what type of data we're dealing with. Save and refresh, and we'll see this is a data type of string. However, though, if we were to just output number 2, the result is still a number. So this type of is a really useful tool if we are unsure what type of data we are working with. And also bear in mind, even if we have a number stored inside of quotes like this, such as the number 5, this will also be classed as a string too. So anything in the quotes is a string. Any number which is not in the quotes is classed as a number. Both the data type of string and also number is considered to be what is called a JavaScript primitive type. Primitives are data types which are not classed as an object. They also don't have any methods, which are actions that can be performed on an object. But don't worry about objects and methods just yet. We'll have plenty more detail on these throughout this course. The main thing to understand for now is that primitives are the more simple data types in comparison, and these include things like this string and also numbers. So just as a recap of what we've looked at in this video, we have data types, which is the type of data which we're working with, and currently we've looked at the data type of string and also number. We also mentioned strongly typed, which is a data type which we need to declare upfront when creating a variable. So in other languages such as Java, we would need to declare that a variable is a certain type of data such as a string or a number when we create it. JavaScript, on the other hand, is loosely typed, so the variables don't care what type of data they contain, and we can also reassign this data with a different data type. For example, we could create a variable which is a string, and then change or reassign it later with a data type of number. Primitives, this is what we just looked at before, which is a data type which is not classed as an object. Primitives are generally a more simple data type, and we will discover the other type of object in some later videos. So this is a basic introduction to JavaScript numbers. They are a real important and fundamental part of JavaScript.